Hey there everybody, Scotia here with a video that I was honestly not expecting to make so soon, but it's one that I'm very happy to be making because the other day we got a tweet from the official Street Fighter Twitter account, and it was a quote from Takayuki Nakayama, the director of Street Fighter V and now Street Fighter 6. And in this quote, he's basically talking about Ryu and kind of the design philosophy around him in Street Fighter 6 and where he is in Street Fighter 6 following on from Street Fighter 5. But what's most important in this tweet is that we actually directly get confirmation that yes, indeed, the rumours and the theories and everything else was true. This is finally the Street Fighter game that is moving past Street Fighter 3 in the timeline. And I've made plenty of videos in the past about how much I've wanted this, and then eventually how convinced I was that this was going to be the game where this happened. So I'm not terribly surprised. I feel like this has kind of been something a lot of people that have kind of kept an eye on this thing and kind of been wondering and hoping for this. I think a lot of people have been expecting this for quite some time now. But to finally get it confirmed, and to finally get it confirmed so early, is crazy to me, because I remember when Street Fighter V first got revealed, and there were several things about that game that were very kind of interesting, and I remember being convinced for a long time with Street Fighter V that that game was actually the one that was going to move past Street Fighter 3 in the timeline. And I think the biggest thing for me that kind of made me think that was Ryu having Denjin and using the power of nothingness, or Mu. And it was eventually later confirmed that this was in fact not the game that was moving past Street Fighter 5, it was the game that was going to bridge Street Fighter 3 to Street Fighter 4 and the rest of the series. I kind of made my peace with that with Street Fighter 5 after a while. I was very disappointed for a while once that kind of got confirmed, but it was just one of those things you have to live with and then move on. And I did, and then again I was still very happy with the bridge that Street Fighter 5 built. It very much built towards Street Fighter 3, and I think in a very satisfactory way. Not the perfect way, but then again, I don't think I was really expecting them to do a perfect job of it. But I think they did a very good job with what they could, But yeah, this being the game was something a lot of us were expecting. I was definitely expecting it. I was hoping for it to be as well. There was always that chance. You can never really 100% go, okay, this is what Capcom's going to do, because they've made so many odd choices over the years that you would think that, things that seem like a guarantee never end up being a guarantee. Characters that you're so sure are going to make it, or characters you're so sure aren't going to make it, come back or don't come back. And yeah, it's that thing where I've learned to kind of never assume anything. I never assumed that 6 was going to take place after 3. I was expecting it, I was hoping for it, but I didn't just assume that was going to be the case, It was definitely a thing of we'll see when they confirm it. And like I said, I was not expecting them to kind of talk about this so soon. And granted, it was in the kind of, I wouldn't say throwaway tweet, but it was in a tweet that, didn't have that much fanfare around it. So I might as well just read the tweet now, to be honest, even though I've already had it on the screen. It says, although Street Fighter 6 occurs after the Street Fighter 3 series, Ryu still feels that he's not there yet, though he seems to have gained some dignity. The way he wears the Kasaya Buddhist robe is reminiscent of his master Goken. So again, there's not a ton of stuff to really go off in terms of the quote itself, but this is still just so crazy to me. I mean, it is one of those things where I was honestly sure that I was never going to see this day, because the way Capcom have just been so kind of hesitant over the years to not just move past Street Fighter 3, but just kind of lean in a bit more on Street Fighter 3 stuff in general. And while there are still elements of Street Fighter 6 itself that we can gather by leaks that show that they're still not really willing to lean in heavily on Street Fighter 3 just yet, but I won't go into that. Obviously, I've made the video on the leaks, so if you want to know what I'm talking about there, feel free to go check that out. I'm going to kind of talk about the leaks into specific videos that I dictate as this is about a leak, so that people who want to avoid that stuff can feel free to just not click on it. So I'm not going to mention here, but yeah, we're clearly still not there yet, but we are getting close, and I feel like this era of Capcom and this development team and the people now currently working on Street Fighter in this kind of post Ono era, I'm not going to blame it solely on Ono, but there is that thing. It's kind of hard to deny how much has just changed about Street Fighter and Capcom's fighting game division since he's left. And that's the thing, I've said it in the other videos, Street Fighter 6 is just firing on all cylinders at the moment, and every little thing they drop about this game, every little thing they talk about, they did a tweet where they kind of just talked about oh, here's a thing, this random feature where now in the versus screen, when the game is loading in, you can move the D-pad or something, and you can change the character faces of the two characters on the loading screen in the versus screen, and just mess around with that. And it's such a dumb thing, but it's so funny, and I love it. And I know a lot of people have just been so the reception to it has been so good, and just every time Capcom talks about this game, and just shows something new, people are just so like amazed and blown away by it. And it's just so crazy that like we're just after years of Street Fighter 5 being in this position of like people just being excited about Street Fighter, it's just crazy. And one thing that really kind of warmed my heart was just the response to this tweet after they dropped it, and you know, it had the little kind of confirmation there that this was taking place after Street Fighter 3. Like, so many people were just so happy, and like there's just the response to it was so positive, and you can just tell like people are ready to move on. Like, as much as we all love the past of Street Fighter and we love the other games in the series, and you know, we all love 2 because of all the memories we have and all the characters, like people want to keep moving forward. And I think that was really a kind of dangerous kind of rut that Street Fighter 5 had found itself in with the series, of just kind of like not moving forward, constantly kind of like dancing around elements to it. And I don't blame a lot Street Fighter 5 for it. I kind of feel like I kind of honestly blame Street Fighter 4 more, but I also understand with Street Fighter 4, like we needed a Street Fighter game set before 3, like we needed one. Did we need 2? Probably not. I feel like one game was enough to kind of like show what happened to Bison and Shadaloo before Street Fighter 3. But I know with Street Fighter 4, they wanted a back to basics kind of soft reboot where everybody just goes back to their base form. Nobody takes any risks. Nobody does anything that could potentially risk the series again like 3 did. And 5 was the one that kind of had to make up for that. But at the same time, 5 kind of like got the short straw in that because it had to be the game that, you know, bridged the gap between 4 and 3, but because of that it had to take elements from 4 and kind of like build towards 3, so it was like alluding to 3 but not actually being able to take that much from it. And in that I mean stuff like the interesting parts of 3, like moving past it and like taking the characters and like where they are in 3. It's kind of like a lot of Street Fighter 5 I felt like was the game going like, okay, here's things that like that are gonna happen in Street Fighter 3, they're not gonna happen in this game, but we can allude to it. And I don't really blame 5 for that. That was kind of, like I said, that was kind of the shitty deal it got by having to follow 4. Like I said, I do blame 4, but I also understand why 4 was the game that it was. But yeah, this is just good news, and it's just really, it really makes me happy that like finally we're just moving forward and like just the confirmation of it. And it's like that thing, I actually like remember like thinking to myself after they dropped the tweet, I was like, I never have to hear the argument of they should retcon Street Fighter 3. Street Fighter 3 story is nonsense, they should retcon it. Like, I never have to hear that argument again. That's such an added bonus for me that like I just don't have to like listen to that stuff. Like I don't have to listen to people constantly be like, oh, they're never going to go past 3, you know, 3 is the black sheep, they're never going to move past it, they're going to ignore that game, they're going to retcon it, they're going to DMC to it and just retcon it so that it happened ages ago and it never mattered. It's just good. I'm happy, and you know, it is definitely, honestly, probably like one of the most exciting things I've heard about this game, which makes sense because I've said before that like moving the series past Street Fighter 3 was one of the things I really wanted 6 to do the most, and now that that's kind of confirmed that that is happening, like, whoa, my excitement goes way up, because I know eventually that when, you know, we start getting Street Fighter 3 characters revealed for this game, that like they're not going to just be stuck in this kind of limbo of like, oh no, we kind of have to like create them and kind of build their characters around where they're going to end up being. It's like now it's like if we get Sean, it's like now we can get a Sean that is like just completely, you know, not like anything we've ever seen. Like Sean doesn't have to suck basically, like, because now that he's in a game post 3, it's like now we can have a Sean that's being trained by Ken, now we can have an Alex that's been, you know, training even harder, now we can have an Ibuki that's like fully graduated into a full-on ninja and stuff like that. That's what really gets me excited the most. And not just for Street Fighter 3 characters, but for the other characters. Like, I really want to see what Sakura has been up to in a Street Fighter game, like, post 3. Like, I really want to see what Sagat has been doing, what's Vega been doing, what's Guy been doing. Like, just so many characters now are just, we can now finally just move on and just take the series in this direction where just everything is just going to be new, and it's going to be exciting, and we're not building to anything anymore. And that's just so, oh man, that just gets me so excited, and like makes me just feel so just like happy and just hyped for everything that this game is going to bring us. And yeah, that's kind of all I wanted to do. I really wanted to just gush and just be like, this is a really cool thing. I know a lot of people probably would have been expecting a video like this from me. I would have done this video when they dropped the tweet, but I was so busy working on the 2 videos breaking down the info from the trailer and the website and then the info from all the leaks that I didn't really have the time to make this video until now, so that's why I'm doing it now. But yeah, really happy, just cannot believe finally like we're just in this era where anything can happen really, you know, and that's what really just excites me the most. So I'm going to wrap this video up. I didn't want it to be this long, to be honest. I know it's probably about 10 minutes, but I just wanted to just kind of just get my thoughts out there into a video and let people know who missed this tweet, because I know not everybody's on Twitter, and just let everybody know that like Street Fighter 6 is officially past Street Fighter 3 in the timeline. and that's exciting, and I can't wait to see more of this game. Capcom are just fucking killing it right now, and I'm just so happy, and yeah, just such a great time to be a Street Fighter fan. It really, really is. So yeah, I'm going to leave things there. I will see you all when we next see Street Fighter 6 or we get any info on any fighting games in general. So until then, I shall see you later. Thank you and goodbye.
We await your return, warrior.